Wanna keep trying, if it means die trying. Wanna keep trying, if it means I'm gonna die trying. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday afternoon. It's bright and sunny outside there, and I'm sure all of you must be getting ready for the weekend, or some of you must already be in the weekend mode. So, welcome again to my weekly Instagram live learning from life experiences. So, today, before I start about the life proper, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Colonel Aditya Singhal, a veteran with 33 years of service in the Indian Army, and now in my second innings, I'm a mind hacker and a mindset shift coach. And what I do is help people get empowered to overcome their challenges and become what they want to be. In addition, I also help them reach the next level which they have not imagined as to what they can be. So, with that as a background, let's start our show today. And before I come to that, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves and really know who you are, who really are inside, and who, if you say, can say confidently that yes, I know myself very well. And so there are many things related to a person as an individual or as a personality, and which I realized after almost 33 years in the army, and after having hung up my uniform and starting my new career as a mind hacker, that we actually don't know who we are, and we actually do not know what we are from inside. And it really takes a lot of effort, empowerment, and enlightenment to know that and to learn about it. So, with that, as a as a, uh, background, so let me start with that. That there are many perspectives, many directions, or many inherent things about a person's personality, which really make a person who he or she is, whether it is in their career, whether it is in their personal life, whether it is with their friends and families, and whatever it may be. And many a times we really don't understand as to how can we be what we are, or how can we discover ourselves. And so while uh, we wait for our participants to join in. Hi Nishitha, hi Aaamina, welcome. How are you?
I'm
Hello,
good.
Colonel. It's great to be here with you and my daughter. Thank you so much.
Hi, Colonel.
So I
Hi.
think
How are you?
hi,
I've been looking
hi,
forward to come on these lives.
yes, absolutely. And I was also looking forward to have you guys both together on this show with me. And I have been, pestering Nishita for quite some time now, and finally she has, you know, accepted my request. So it really
Yes.
feels great to be here with you all. And so I was just talking about with the audience first as to what we are going to speak in today's session. But before we do that, I request both Nishita and Amya to tell our audience a little bit about yourself. So first Nishita, then Amya, or vice versa, whichever way you feel you
Do
would
you want to go
want to go ahead.
first, Amina?
No. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. I'll go next.
All right. First of all, thank you so much. And thank you everyone, the viewers for joining in for this amazing session. And Colonel is someone who I look up to in many ways as a human being. His dedication, his determination to help people, spread a noble message, and be active. Where I even think of at times that you know there are people who choose to retire early, but colonel is someone like that. That word is not there in his dictionary, sort of a person, right? So it's such an inspiration to be here, to be associated with you. And yes, a little bit about myself. I am a self-belief coach, and I help people to find their voice, especially in social relationships, right? So people struggle in that. I have struggled myself in that, and it's through that I came through this journey, and the journey has been amazing until now, right? So that's what we'll be discussing about here as well, right? Knowing more about who we are, right? This is a little bit about me, and also I'm a mom to three awesome daughters, and Amina is my eldest one. And yes, over to Amina.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mama. And first of all, of course, I'd like to thank Colonel for this amazing, like pulling this off together, bringing this day for us because we've been in the conversation of making this happen. But now finally it has happened, and I'm so happy and so grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to go live with both of you who inspire me so much. So with that, my name is Amina Suman. I help people, especially women, who struggle with procrastination and lack of self-confidence in order to improve their relationship with themselves and also build self-confidence to go after their dreams and their goals. And that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years, and it has been a wonderful journey. And looking forward to so much more. So yeah, that's who I am. That's what I do.
Thank you, Nishita, and thank you, Amya. So I just will take off from what you said. Help people to have a wonderful relationship with themselves. So this is a very, very important thing, which I also realized in my journey that unless until you will have a very good and amazing relationship with ourselves, we cannot have the same thing with others. And to have that kind of a relationship, that is where discovering yourself comes into play, or knowing as to who you are as a person, as an individual, or and our personality just does not depend. Like earlier, I remember we used to believe too much on the sun signs. So I am a Scorpio, I am a Sagittarian, I am an
Exactly.
Aquarian. So we
Yes.
all used to define ourselves as per our sun sign, and we
Correct.
did not see anything beyond that. But now we are at a stage there, wherein we have realized that your personality is not just your sun sign. It's just not whether you're a man or a woman or a individual, but there are many more things
Yeah.
attached to it. So that is where I would want you to tell our audience as to firstly, why is it important for everyone to know themselves? Then we will come to the next step as to how we can do it. But why is it important for you or me or anybody to know who I am as a person? Yeah,
Right.
Nishit.
I
Or
think
yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead, Amin, go ahead, please.
right. So off the top of my head, what's coming in my mind is if we even just films, for example, right? Even if we look at films from the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, the 60s to now, whatever the films that we are seeing, if we really look into what they try to portray to us is they're just trying to the protagonist goes for a journey of understanding who he or she is. That is the entire movie,
Mm.
whether whatever happens around the character is not actually the movie is how the
Okay.
character starts from the beginning and goes through the climax and then kind of takes ownership of everything that has happened in their life, and then from there they start to build something. So I think this whole
Mm.
notion of who am I, what do I want, what are my thoughts, what are my beliefs, this has been there since the beginning of time, and it is only through this question that wonderful people have kind of contributed so much in this world. People like Albert Einstein, people like Newton, all of these people, if they didn't ask themselves, who am I? What do I want to do? What is my calling? Why do I feel like I'm different? Why do I feel like I like different things? So if these people did not ask themselves who they are and who they want to be, I think we'll be missing out on so many amazing things in this world. So I think that's what the origin of the question is, who am I? And that is where
Yeah,
everything
absolutely.
else starts from, and everything else kind of conspires into, right? So it's the most important
Yeah.
question that you need to ask yourself at any point in your life, is what I think.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, Nishita,
it's a
your views.
very, very valid point put in a beautiful way, right, Colonel? And what I want to add to this is that if we don't know who we are, like if we don't make that effort to ask good questions to ourselves, look into, what is happening, why is it happening inside or around us, what tends to happen is that we get to believe that, this is who I am. And it may be at times damaging, right? Or it may be at times good. It depends upon what is it. Like some people may believe that, I'm not at all good enough for anything. I cannot achieve anything great in life. That success is not meant for me, or they can do it. I cannot. So if this is the main background music that goes on in their mind constantly, it will show up in their relationships. It will show up in their career. It will show up in the different areas of their life, right? So getting out of that box that you know is already created in a way, unknowingly, growing up, conditioning, society, all of these reasons. Once we get to our level of like, okay, let me try to understand what is happening inside me and question ourselves, that's when we get to the answers of how to get out of this box and really find who am I, and why do I feel uncomfortable around certain things, and why do I question these beliefs that society has, or I can see that what's happening around this particular situation is wrong, but why don't people question that? So all of these self questioning has to somewhere start in everyone's life at some point, because that will lead to gradually is understanding our true essence of how we can use our strength by knowing who we are deeply and put it into action to take it forward, even to contribute to the world, and not only world, starting from our home, the environment at home, right? The basic
Yeah,
foundation of
absolutely.
society. For that to change, we are to have this awareness of, why am I triggered? Why can't I control my anger? Why is anxiety taking over me? Right? People just what I see is that many people they complain about their problems, but it takes a lot of effort for them to decide and work on themselves, right? So by the time
Absolutely.
something is off track, and more work is required to be done in some cases. Yeah. So that's why it's very, very important.
Yeah, so Nishita, you brought out another very important point is that at times we know our problems, we keep on talking about our problems, but we do not accept them, or we do not take any action to overcome those problems or find a solution for it. And
Yeah.
at times, one more thing you brought out was the way family is one very, very important factor wherein how we are brought up in our home,
Yes.
how the kind of environment that we are brought up in, and also the society. So many times people keep quiet and don't ask questions to either themselves or others because of the societal norms, or like if I talk about myself, I have been brought up in a manner wherein we are not supposed to ask any questions. Whatever has been told to us by our elders, it has to be followed. There's no question of asking
Okay.
question. You have been told to do this, you have to do it. That's it. And however, now we have seen that things have been changing, and I'm sure Amina would have experienced the difference between the way you grew up and what you must have seen your mother would have
Yes.
grown up in. That we are becoming more aware, not only as individuals but even as parents and also children, as to why it is very important for us to ask questions, and not only to ask questions to ourselves, but to ask questions about everything which is being told to us, or we are being told to do. Because if we do not do that, we'll be going into the same old rut, and we'll be like a passenger sitting in a train. The train is going from place A to, say, for example, from Pune to um, uh, Kannur, and so train is going at its own speed. It's going slow or fast. It doesn't matter. You're sitting. It will reach the destination, and you will get down there. So instead of becoming a passenger, one has to take the responsibility, as we also learned. So now, coming to that point again, uh, we realize why it is important to know who you are. But still, we find that this is the most difficult thing which most of us face, as to finding who you are. Like right now, you, me, and Amya, we are three individuals on the same screen, but each person has their own different characteristics, own qualities, own shortcomings. You know
Yeah.
yourself, I know myself, but still there are many things we don't know about us, ourselves, which we thought we are. So how can we overcome that challenge, of what can one do to know or oneself as to who you are?
One very important thing that you just mentioned, Colonel, is how this question in itself about who we are is the most difficult thing to find answers to. But if we, all three of us in itself, if we look at our journey, the answer was always right there. It was just that we were not ready, or we were not willing to take the leap of faith and make a decision to
Mm.
actually accept the answer. So, this whole notion of finding yourself is difficult is something that has been fed to us, I think, maybe by media or by, I don't know for what, by what means, but this is something we all believe, right? Finding ourselves or understanding who we are. What do I like? What do I don't like? These things, it has been fed to us that getting to these things is very difficult, when in fact it is not. It is very easy, and
Yeah.
it is, there are people that can help you out, there are things that can help you out very fast to understand who you are. But it's just this belief that it is very difficult and I have to do something life changing or something extremely daring or out of the blue or something unbelievable for me to know who I am. And this notion is false, and this is the notion that is holding so many people back from making that decision of going ahead to sit with themselves, to understand who they are, to try different things, to explore, to say yes, right? So I think that is the most important part, to know when you see that there is someone or something sitting in front of you who can give you a solution, then it comes to your responsibility to say whether yes or no, because the answer
Mm.
has come knocking on your door, but how willing are you to welcome it into your home, right? So that is where the problem is, I guess. That is where, in my journey of working with so many people across the world, different backgrounds, that is where I guess the problem really lies. Even when the answer is right there in
Mm.
front of you, most people do not have the courage to welcome it and to bring that in. And that is the biggest challenge that we face, I feel.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
it
Yeah,
it's
Nishita.
to add on to what Ami said and you shared, Colonel. This whole responsibility of being mindful of ourselves, right? It's not something that ends with us as a human being, because we are not just one single human being on this planet. We are connected to our children, we are connected to our parents, we are connected to society. So what are we bringing into the society with what we are believing? What is the change that we are bringing in? For us to understand all this, working on ourselves is so important so that the next generation who's growing up, they heal better, they heal easier, faster than what we went through. For example, we are at different age levels physically, right?
Yeah.
So I started my journey in a certain age. Army started earlier. Colonel started
Mm.
on a different age. So it's already going to, it started its impact already. Yeah,
Yes,
through
absolutely.
whoever we connect with, through the change in perspective we bring into in raising our children, in behaving to our parents, our siblings, and connecting with people, connecting with ourselves even, right? So that everything has to start from there. And my personal experience, which I want to share here, is that along the way of questioning myself and going through a lot of ups and downs in life, I came to a point that I have to know what's happening, right? And that's when I decided to do something about it. And uh, to explain that, I came across this Enneagram and personality types. And because I was
Mhm.
also looking forward to do something meaningful as my second career, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, I was in the corporate. Then, after that phase is over, I wanted to do something that's more meaningful and, have an impact and not just a job, right? So in that search, I discovered how the human mind works. What is it that affects a person emotionally, mentally? How can they actually manage themselves if they have a lot of awareness? That's when I came across this platform that we all got connected to under our mentor Afin, right? And it came across this Enneagram personality types, and I discovered that I have the dominant traits of a peacemaker, one of the nine
Mm.
main types, right? So when I first came through that, connected to my report and my traits, what I realized is that I did not even know that there is another part of me, because I was not aware of it. I was
Yeah.
just living with whatever I believed and with whatever I saw, etc. I did not know, because we will not know. We are human beings. We will know what we are familiar with, right? We will not
Absolutely.
know until we know about something, right? So I came to understand that these patterns that I carried, the main pattern that I carried was like I used to focus on temporary peace, which is
Mm.
an unhealthy trait. For example, right? It's an unhealthy trait. So until I could realize that, okay, I have this trait and this is unhealthy, I couldn't think differently, right? For example, if there is some difficult conversation to be made, or if there is any conflict to be handled, my earlier approach towards that would be that I would not talk about it. Like I would,
Mm.
I wanted to keep that temporary peace. My focus would be on the temporary peace, because I did not want to confront. I did not want to create that discomfort for the other person and create a sort of uncomfortable environment. But gradually, it would fire back at me and the other person in a different way. It would blow up in a different way, which is more like it's not favorable for that relationship. So because I could understand that this is a pattern I have, like I don't want to deal with conflicts and I focus on temporary peace, I could shift it. I could like choose not to be like that and choose to be a different, better, healthier version. Like I could deal with conflicts in a different way. I could still have that difficult conversation, because my focus would not be on temporary peace, because that's going to damage going forward. I would focus on what's good in the long term. Yeah. So I could shift that perspective, and
Mm.
just that 1% shift, Colonel, the the way it has took me forward in regards to dealing with people, right? I was like, I was someone who would love to live invisible, right? I would do all the required things, and I did not know like what did I want in certain areas of my life. I just was tending to what was required around me, right? So focusing on myself was something I did not have in mind because that's how it was. But now when I did the work on myself, I could understand that if I focus on myself, my needs, my capabilities, I could do more for not only my loved ones, but also more in every different way, right? That led me to break some barriers and connect with the right people. One of you is you yourself, Colonel, and be, create an environment for me that is healthier, growth oriented, and having sort of meaning rather than just being around. It's like life got a meaning, right? I know what's happening inside. If I'm triggered with something, I know why am I triggered, and I know my patterns, right? So that is something that I wanted to share, giving a little bit of brief around uh, one of the personalities of, for example, Peacemaker.
So I can actually resonate with you, Nishita, as to what you said, because I myself am also a peacemaker. And what I realized when I became aware of my personality was that I was always trying to avoid conflict. I always try to stay in the background. I'll go do my work and then vanish. So
Very
whereas
true.
I saw many people who would make a big celebration of what they have done, or they'll keep on telling everybody around themselves, I did that, I did this, and all that. And I would say, well,
Right.
why why should I beat my own trumpet? Let people recognize me by my work. However, what I realized was in the process now that I'm aware is that if I do not respect or acknowledge my accomplishments, I cannot expect others to do the same for me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that was a very important thing which I realized about discovering about your personality. And another thing which you said was avoiding conflicts was again a very common thing with me, because we wanted to always maintain the peace around me. Peace, my own mental peace was important. And as a result, many times wherein there was one, you had to take a stand for yourself, you did not do that, or you shied away from the conflict.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as a result, you were accumulating everything, layers and layers of this thing inside your mind. And at one stage in my life, it just burst like a volcano. And
Yes.
Exactly.
it was quite a, I would say, life-changing experience for me at that particular time. So luckily, I survived that, and I'm back to my normal. But we have seen many people now that we are in this profession, that many people are not able to handle this kind of pressure, and they succumb to it, and they undergo depression. They undergo they would go
Right.
to all kinds of people to seek help, and but still they will not get the result that they are looking for. So, Amya, what was your experience as to how did once you discovered yourself, firstly, how did it feel, and then how did you implement that in bringing about change in the people around you, or helping people transform themselves?
The biggest transformational moment or the biggest light bulb moment in my journey was, in fact, understanding my personality as an enthusiast. Because I've had struggles
Mhm.
with so many things in terms of I've had struggles with finding what I really want to do in my life. I've struggled with empathy, and I was never able to find an answer to why this is happening with me at such a young age, right? So I was never able to stick to something. I was never able to commit to a certain type of studies or do any of that sort, because I was always looking. I Something inside me was telling me that this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. But I was never able to get to an answer. So the biggest light bulb moment for me was, in fact, realizing that I am an enthusiast. These are my traits. These are my behaviors, and these are my coping mechanism. These are the things that I am searching for. Actually, these are the things that I am searching for in my life, and these are my values. And only Only that helped me give so much clarity and explanation to all the confusion I've had before. For example,
Mm.
in terms of empathy, I'm somebody who struggled with having empathy all my life. And I'm only 25 now. So it's a big claim to make. Like at such a young age, from 16, 17 to 20, if you struggle with empathy, that means there is something fundamentally wrong that's happening in my mind. But I didn't realize that. For me, it was so difficult to empathize with anyone.
Mm.
And reading my report, I realized that I was not able to empathize with anyone because I've not empathized with myself.
Yeah,
I've never shown
Yeah,
empathy to
absolutely.
who I am. I've never shown empathy to my the experiences that I've had in my life, the traumas that I've had to face, the wounds that was given to me in my childhood or in my teen years. I never empathized with myself. I just put it in a box and I just shut it somewhere so far away that I never have to look. So year after
true.
year, that manifested in me as in I was not able to feel empathy towards any other human being. I didn't
Mm.
feel empathy when somebody was sitting and crying in front of me. I would intellectualize it. I would understand, okay, this person is sad and this person is crying. Intellectually, I knew that they were sad. But the feeling of
Yeah,
empathy that comes from the heart, and I could never find it. So that was one big transformation I had. It's because I never showed myself empathy. And of course, how I implemented it is without even realizing, I decided that I want to pursue a career where I help people or build masterminds or become a coach, which was not something nowhere in my mind. I never thought I'd be doing the work that I'm doing today. But this work requires tremendous amount of empathy. If you don't have empathy,
absolutely.
you can't work with
Yeah.
people, right? So that is my biggest transformation. Understanding how much I struggle with empathy, understanding why it was, and then like magically coming into a career where empathy is the most important requirement. That in itself was how just understanding my personality, just having that report with me, just having that detailed clarity about my behavior, just that in itself just helped me in tremendous ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also connect with you on that. Like you realize this at a young age of 25. I realized it at a age after like I had spent one career and I was transitioning into a new career. And when I became aware about this, I said, had I known it that maybe 10 years before, I would have been a totally different kind of a person. I would have been able to create a different kind of impression or transformation in not only in my own life, but in the life of people who I was working with, in the life of my men who I was commanding while I was in the army. And because
Yeah.
one thing why I realized towards the later phase of my journey was that, because of the you know, changes in society because of that joint family system breaking up and people moving towards nuclear family, uh, especially the men who were coming from the rural background, they were facing tremendous amount of problems when it came to handling the family issues that cropped up. And even though they
Yeah.
are sitting at the border looking after they had a duty to do, but there was nobody else to look after the family, and they were finding it very difficult to handle both the situation. And as a result,
Right.
we found many cases of, which have become more frequent in terms of mental breakdown, depression, and even people committing suicide. And we have also, like these days, if you see, the most common cause of depression among the young kids who are in 11th, 12th, they are resorting these issues because they are not able to handle the situation or handling the pressures which is being created
Yes.
knowingly or unknowingly, but not only by their parents but the entire environment around them.
Yes.
And if they know if they become aware about their personality, if they become aware as to what are their qualities and how they can handle things, what can they do to overcome the issues they are
Yeah.
facing, and they also that today there are so much of professional help available to them
Yeah.
to overcome these challenges. And it is not only important for the children, but it is also important for the parents to understand that, because most of the time what happens is parents are in a denial mode. They think, they
Yes.
say that everything is all right, everything will go okay,
Exactly.
or nothing great about it. So that
Exactly.
awareness is also very important. And so, moving on to the next stage, so what can we do, or what can the parents do first? Well, it has to start from the parents first. If we talk about the younger generation today, so what
Right.
can the parents do to become more aware? To not only first become aware about their own personality, then understanding the personality of their children, and thereafter create a kind of environment wherein the children can flourish and do what they want, and they can be successful at whatever they aspire to do in their life in future. So what would be your take on this?
Oh, wow. So the first thing parents are to realize is that their children will have their own individuality. It will be there no matter how much, like, how much you try and expect them to follow, which is a very wrong thing, by the way, to follow your dreams, to accomplish what you couldn't accomplish, and you know, expect everything that you fail to do. You, as a parent, are to step out of that zone and just see them as an individual. So, for
Yeah,
that, you
absolutely.
are to yourself see your individuality, right? Only then can, like what Ami shared, right? She could not empathize with others because she was not empathetic to herself. So, parents, they are living in a bubble, for example. So until they realize what sort of bubble are they living in, they may transfer the same patterns to the children even, right? Yeah, just following what the society is. Sometimes society is harmful, and I do agree to a very good extent that a lot of mental problems that we see has stemmed from the societal norms and expectations, right? So
Absolutely.
we are to see them as an individual. We are to raise our own self awareness and then provide a space for ourselves to heal so that we know that, okay, my children, okay, I gave them birth, they came through me, but still they will go through their pain, they will have their experiences. I am to be there as a guide to them. I cannot control and do everything to
Absolutely.
protect them, even though I wanted to. Like, I cannot protect them from pain or failure. That's what they will have to go through in life. That's what that they will, the character development will happen through all of these, right? And but we are to be in that mental space, that emotional space of our own healing, and be open to their healing and their own journey in life as well. So yeah, that's what I want to share for parents, to be aware about yourself, to start your own healing journey, to know more about yourself. What are your traits? What are your patterns? Are your patterns healthy or not? Do you want to shift it or not? Because unknowingly or knowingly, through love, through fear, through any other emotion, you may be passing on the damaged patterns to your next generation, even though you don't want to. That can
Absolutely.
happen, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, what would
Yes.
be your perspective and message to, especially to the youngsters, because you have seen the other side
Actually,
of the perspective and
in my
spectrum. Yeah.
in my journey also, the first person that took the initiative to work on herself, to work on, who felt like something is not right in the family, something is not functional in the family, and to actually take a step towards working on it was my mother. Even before
mm,
I thought about it, even before my siblings knew about it, my grandmother knew about it, anybody even realized that something was very dysfunctional, the person who actually took the step with or without the support of anybody was my mother. And she then worked on herself, and through the changes that she was able to bring in herself as an individual and not just like a mother, as an individual, the
mm,
kind of changes that we kind of saw her bring eventually month after month, 6 months later, 1 year later, that is when we realized that something was significantly changing in our household. So this whole this whole journey in our household, I can say, not just the journey of my mom or me, the entire family that we lived together kind of went through the journey, because one person
mm,
started and that kind of gave a ripple effect into all the other people in the family. And it was through her change that I was inspired to understand, okay, there is something dysfunctional in me. There is something that I need to work on, because I am not happy, or I am not being expressive. I am not being myself. And then I started my journey. Now there are two people, and through us, our siblings kind of got impacted
mm.
by it, and now they think through states of minds. That is the filters that they have in their mind to think about. My 18-year-old sister, my 12-year-old sister, the kind of things they think about is, okay, why am I feeling this way? Oh, this is the state of mind that's working behind me. And that happened only because there was this one person who actually took the step, and who actually went ahead and addressed the dysfunctionality in the family, right? So it is so important, whether you are a parent, whether whoever you are in that family, for that one person to take the step,
Yeah,
and only not only keeping the effects or the results of that decision to themselves, but also spreading it as much as they can, talking about it, making conversations about it. And then maybe you are talking to five people, all the five people might not get inspired. Three people would say, what the hell is she talking
absolutely.
about? We just live, when we sleep, we wake up, we do whatever needs to be done, and we go. But there will be the two people who might be thinking, this is a very different perspective. What is she talking about? Is there something that I can do to maybe become better? That two people is enough, right? That two will then become 20. So that one person, whether you are a parent or you're a child, maybe you're the eldest child, maybe your parents are too old to now understand this now, maybe they have to see it through you. So if you are the eldest child, you must take the step. If you are somebody who have the resources, then you are the one who need to take the step. And this whole concept of denial, how much people are living in denial, whether they realize it or not, there is so much denial in every individual, everyone,
Absolutely. Yeah.
youngsters, 40s, 50s, does not matter the age. Even people in their teens, they are growing up with denial, and that is something that scares me so much. There is so much denial in terms of in terms of their strengths, in terms of their weaknesses, in terms of their identity, in terms of the experiences that they might have had. All of these things is just living in denial, and then using nice words and smart words and intellectual words to kind of summarize whatever they feel, and then kind of making it,
Mm.
justifying it, and making it poetic, like it's a
Yeah.
way of life. And none of this, it's going to work once you pass a certain age, right? Maybe it'll work in your 16 year old. Maybe it'll work in your early 20s. Maybe it will work until your late 30s. But what after that? Who are you going
Mm.
to justify it to after you're 35, after you're 50? And there are people depending on you for life. Then what is the justification that you're going to give? So this whole concept
Absolutely.
of denial is a very big, I think, a very big epidemic, the concept of
Mm.
denial. And then just that one person showing the courage to say that there is something dysfunctional and I need to find a way out. That is enough to
Yeah.
change
So,
family's life
absolutely.
altogether.
So you're absolutely, you brought out very nicely, Ami, that it starts from one person. It could be anybody in the family. It could be the eldest, it could be the somebody in the middle, or it could be the youngest. But somebody has to take that first step. And once you have started the step, and once you have created that awareness among yourself, and you are setting an example for others to follow. And when they see you transforming, automatically that ripple effects start taking place, and it also encourages other people also to realize what they are denying, and also realize that we have to get out of that denial mode. We have to accept the reality, and we also have to accept to start working on that. And one more thing
Right.
which you brought up, which I felt was very, very important, is that uh, we cannot expect others to do things for ourselves. It is totally upon us to take that first step. It is totally upon us as an individual to start that uh,
Yeah.
action. And by doing that, we will be able to create the awareness. We will be able to, encourage or become a role model for others to take action as per their requirement, or as per their personality, as per their challenges that they are facing. But it has to
Exactly.
start from somewhere. And again, one more thing which I realized, like if you remember, Nishitha, our mentor, Arfin, always used to say, ki, if I just think and say, what can I do even better than what I
Yeah,
did yesterday, or what can I do even better tomorrow than what I am doing today, will
yeah,
enable us to create that awareness, not only to understand ourselves as an individual, but also to understand other people, and also handle the challenges and that we are facing in our life in a much better manner. So it was really, really amazing interaction with both of you, Nishita and Amin. And so before we wind up our session for the day, so what would be your one tip for our audience to how, now that we have given them the background, we have set the stage for them. Now, what can they do next to get things in place for themselves, get out of the denial mode, start taking actions, and make their life better than what it is today, or than what it was yesterday. Whether it is today about discovering themselves as an individual, or whether they're taking actions to become aware of the challenges or the situation they are facing in their life, and then how can they become more empowered to uh, handle these things, and become better than what they were yesterday or where they are today.
I would
And
love to answer this
how can
question.
you
Right?
help them? And that is more important. How can you help them do that?
So, everyone who would listen to this live until this point, one thing, as you asked right now, the one question that they can ask themselves, which is also one question that I asked myself at one point, is can I continue living the way I am living right now? Am I actually okay with it? Then make a decision. Make a decision. That's up to you, right? So that's where everything starts to show up. That one question and that one decision, right? Yeah, that's from my side. Anything more to add, Ami, to this?
Uh, I'm not sure whether what I'm about to say will be blunt or some people would like it or not like it. But I have to be true to myself and be authentic. That's the most important part. So what I would say is that when hell comes knocking on your door, or when you are in the journey, or when you are actually actively seeking for help, and then you find a solution that can help you out, then be courageous enough to say yes to it and welcome that, and not just say, oh, I need time to think about it. What are you thinking about? Right? So that when something is there right in front of you that can help you out, or when there is a solution that you feel like, if I practice this, I am going to be better than I am today, then do it. Do the damn thing.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing. The action is the most important thing. You can think a lot of things, you
Yes.
can say a lot of things, plan a lot of things, talk about a lot of things, but as long as you're not taking any action, any solid action and effort to bring about a change, to bring about the results that you want, and you're still sitting there and complaining, oh, I had all the potential, I was so talented, I was so that, I was so this, but I could do anything. Life happened, I got married, then kids came across, and I couldn't do much. I mean, it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
Seek help.
Yeah, one idea just popped up when Ami was talking about this. People are so used to that box or the bubble that they make it their own identity, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
Absolutely.
coming out of that is what will help everything shift. So until that is done, what else to say? Nothing
In
much is
fact,
going to
I'll
change
share
Absolutely.
without
something that
inaction.
I am not very proud of about myself also in my early
Mhm.
days.
Hmm.
Was I've made this whole character of, nothing affects me, I don't feel no pain,
Right.
no matter what happens, however painful it is, I don't feel anything. I had made that my whole identity in my early days, in my 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year old. I was that person, and I thought that was cool, and I thought I'm so strong, and I'm people would like to be like me. And I made my pain and my experiences and my wounds and my traumas and everything that came with it, I made my coping mechanism a part of my identity. And I used to speak that as my truth. That was the bubble that
Mhm.
I lived in, and I'm not very proud of it. But I'm sharing this thinking that even if there's one person listening and they feel like they are somewhere attaching their traumas and their limitations as their identity and making that as the cover up for being unhappy in their life, then that is the
Yeah.
thing that needs to change first. And for me, coming out of
Absolutely.
that was a big challenge, right? So that is the first step.
Yeah, Ami, one more thing, which when you were talking about, uh, grabbing that opportunity which is coming, instead of saying no, I need more time to think. It reminded me of a very common thing which we used to follow in the academy, was that opportunity knocks at your door only once. And if you do not grab it, it'll pass on to the next door. Then you will keep on wondering what to do. Now, what do I do? And not only do we have seen this happening, is we'll not grab the opportunity, and once it has been grabbed by somebody else and they have achieved what they're looking to achieve, then we start feeling jealous about that. How can he do that? It was meant to be for me. But we do not acknowledge. We are again in the denial mode that it was there in front of you, did not grab it. So now it is your loss. Yeah, you did not
Yes.
take action when it was required. So
Yes.
now, why are you feeling jealous, or why are you feeling, going into that, what do you call, victim mode, that why me? Why this happened to me? Because this happened to me because I did not take the action when there was time for me to take action. So that is another thing which is very, very important, which you both brought out. All of us need to understand and implement in our lives. So that's really, really great. Yeah. Yeah, Nishita, you were saying something.
Yes, Colonel, when you mentioned about grabbing the opportunity, if we are not in our healthier patterns, we won't even see the opportunity because we are closed, right?
Yeah,
We are
absolutely.
having filters and we are closed up. We won't even have the vision of, okay, opportunities are around, but I cannot see it because I'm closed, right? So yeah, that's about it.
So that also reminds me of another thing. If you see, in the olden days, we used to have that tanga, and the horse which used to pull
Hmm.
that cart. The
Yeah,
eyes were
yeah,
closed. They
sideways like this.
were
Yeah.
filters there, so the horse cannot see anywhere but only in the front. So similar thing happens with many
Right.
people, where when they cannot see the opportunities around you because they are focusing only in one direction.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Ami, you were saying something.
I was
Yeah.
agreeing to you. I was agreeing to everything that you were saying. It happens, and it's a bad place to be in. Being open to
Absolutely.
perspectives, being open to different ways of thinking than yourself is the first step to understanding that there's different ways to live out there. It's not the only way that you know. So it is a tough journey. It's not that me saying this does not imply to anybody that it is easy or you can do it today or within one day. It is a difficult journey. It has been difficult journey for me. It has been difficult journey for Nishita, and I'm sure it has been a difficult journey for Colonel as well, right? But
Absolutely.
there
Yeah.
is, we are all sitting here as a hope that there is always a brighter side, and there is a way to get on to that side. And it starts with the willingness to say yes to it. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. The intent has to be until that intent is not there created, then nothing else is going to happen. So thank
Exactly.
you very
For
much,
example,
Nishita
Colonel,
and Ami.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
to share one last thing. You are such an inspiring person because you have spent 33 years serving our country, and you've done tremendous work even just in that 33 years. And after after hanging up your uniform, you were not you did not stop. You did not think that, oh, I've done my part in life, and now I can rest or I can chill. You looked for other ways to impact life, and more than anything else, you looked for other ways to grow yourself, your mindset, your
absolutely.
thought process.
Yeah,
At that age you showed that courage. And if from that, we as youngsters, we can't have the courage to do it earlier, that in itself is a big failure. So you sitting in front of us is the biggest inspiration that all the audience needs, right? Change
Colonel,
can
yeah,
happen at
Colonel,
any moment.
Colonel has left no room for excuses for any of us.
Exactly, exactly. He's a tremendous person, and that's the only inspiration you need, guys, if you're looking forward to change. If he can change after serving our country for 33 years and then retiring and then thinking about what can I do to be better, we have no excuse to not think that way.
thank you, Ami, and thank you, Nishita, and thank you to our audience who have been listening to us. And they are not today is like we are not seeing anybody contributing in the chat, but I am sure they would have. Learned from the experiences and the words that were shared by Ami and Nishita, and they are, I would say, they have become empowered and inspired to take action, to become
So,
aware of what they are, who they are, and what they can do to overcome their challenges. And in case they are still facing any kind of difficulties, they can always connect with either Nishita or Ami or even me. And we'll be very happy to, contribute in a better manner in helping you overcome your challenges and becoming empowered and a better person than what you are today. So thank you very much, guys, and I'm looking forward to see you again. And in case somebody wants to us to talk about a specific subject or a topic, please do let us know. So we will then we will handle that particular thing in our next live.
exactly.
And I'm really looking forward to have many more these conversations with both of you and contribute towards the good of the world and also grow ourselves as a community. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
to
so much,
both of
Colonel.
you
And
and
thank
to
you
the audience.
guys for joining in.
Thank you, Colonel, and thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. It's been a
Bye bye.
wonderful evening. Bye.
Yeah, thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye. Take care. Have a great weekend. And
You
make
too.
your
You too.
weekend even better than what it was last week.
All right, we'll do that.
Bye bye.